Hello, students. Welcome to this new session of Python. Today, we are going to learn how to install PyCharm and how to debug a program using PyCharm. Now, before we install PyCharm, let us understand what is PyCharm and what is the requirement of PyCharm. All of us up till now have used the IDLE as far as doing the practicals are concerned. This is the Python IDLE shell where we can do the practicals. This is the last program which we had studied, one of pyramid pattern. This is a sort of editor where we can write the programs. But it has, yes, the advantage is it is very fast and compatible with the Python IDLE. But definitely if we want to debug a program, then this has got some limitations. So now, uh, PyCharm, let me go to the website of PyCharm. You can just type PyCharm download in Google, and this is the website. PyCharm is developed by JetBrains. So you can download the community edition or you can download the professional one. As far as beginners are concerned, the edition is quite good and it is not a big issue. Basically, PyCharm is an editor or a tool where you can type programs in Python and in fact many other languages as well. But here we are focusing on Python programs. The main feature why we are trying to install and learn PyCharm is it helps us in debugging the program. In the sense, uh, in the next few sessions, we are going to start with sorting and searching algorithms. Now, many times the program executes, but the output is not correct. In those cases, what we need is we need to debug a program. That is, find out where exactly the error is there or from which point onwards the output is becoming getting incorrect. So for this PyCharm is useful. Now, though PyCharm is a good editor as far as Python is concerned, and good debugger, in fact more of a debugger than an editor, because editor we can use the Python IDLE also, but it has a drawback. It's little bit of a heavy tool in the sense the hardware requirements are quite high. Say for example, for 64-bit version of Microsoft Windows, it requires minimum 2 GB of RAM, though 8 GB is recommended, 2.5 GB of hard disk space, and SSD is recommended. Uh, yes, believe me, I have been using PyCharm since long. It takes some time when you load PyCharm. Once you load PyCharm to execute the programs, it does not take that much of time. So, I have got one older version of PyCharm Community Edition. We are not going to install the latest version. However, the method of installing the latest version is going to be similar. From here, you can download the Community Edition. So, let's try to start installing the Community Edition of PyCharm. As I said, it will take some time depending upon the speed of your system. It will ask for the path where you want to install. You can give the path that you want. Now it will ask whether you want a 32-bit launcher or a 64-bit launcher. Specifically, if your system is 32-bit, then you have to take your 32-bit. My system is 64-bit, so I will select this one. And I had already taught you how to check your system is 32-bit or 62-bit. Just let us try to recollect how to do that. Say, for example, you can go to my computers, this PC, and select properties. So when you select properties, the system type will be displayed 64-bit operating system and 64-bit based processor. So both the things are matching. Hence, you need to use a 64-bit installer as far as PyCharm is concerned. Now, create associations. It is a good practice that you create .py association. That means because we are specifically going to use it for Python programs. We give next. Start menu folder, whatever you want to give, you can select, and I will start the installation process. It will just take few minutes to complete the installation. Again, it will depend on the speed of the machine that you have. I have a machine. I had shown you the machine configuration a while before. Remember, we are just going to use PyCharm in case we are having logical errors and the output is not correct. That is to debug a program. Otherwise, the normal uh, Python ideally is good. So you saw in real time. I have a machine with 8 GB RAM, i5, and 2.4 gigahertz of processor, so it does not take that much of time to complete the installation. First time it will configure few things, so it may just take little bit of time. Let me close some of the other things that are not required. Fine. Now custom location configuration folder or installation home of the previous versions. We don't want to do that. Uh, we don't want to import settings, so I just select the default option and give OK. You have to just scroll down the policies, and definitely if you want to use PyCharm you have to give accept. This is if you want to send usage statistics. Generally you should select don't send, because unnecessarily it will consume your net data. Two themes are available, the lighter one and the darker one. I like the lighter theme, so I will select this. You can change the theme later on as well. Now it will ask for featured plugins and all this, but better option is as far as beginners are concerned, we are in the stage of beginners, so you can skip remaining and set defaults. So select the first option that appears on the left of the screen. Now the way in which Python ideally works for Python programs and PyCharm Community Edition works is different. What you need to do in PyCharm is first time when you are about to configure PyCharm, all the Python programs are created under one project. So what you need to do is you need to create a new project once, and under that project all your Python programs will be created. So you can select the path Now here it is C colon user and all that. But if I want to save my program somewhere else, then I can select a different path, say for example E colon and under, okay, under E colon I can say uh, PyCharm. Fine, that is all. Okay, sorry, I need to give the name of the project, and actually the folder does not exist, so I have to create the folder as well. So what I do is I create a folder. Fine, now the folder is created, so I will have to select the folder, and then I will also have to give the name of the project, uh, project 1, say for example. You can give any name. I am giving project 1. Okay, sorry, project 1 need not be given over here. Yeah, now over here I need to give the name of the project. It's just any project name that you need to give. What it does is it sets some variables over here. So now I will give create. It will take just a few seconds to do some. Uh, okay, fine. So almost we are there. It creates a virtual environment to the path that we have selected. Some error that it has occurred. Fine. Right now we can give OK, and then let us see what happens, how we are able to go ahead. Certain errors may not cause problems, certain errors may cause problems. So now what we have to do is, here I have selected a project, and then I will have to, if I want to create a new Python file, file, new, and then I will have to select Python file. So once I select Python file, it will ask the name of the file. Say I will give pyramid pattern, and that's it. Okay. So what I try to do is, let me check out over here. File, open the last program that we had created. What I am doing is I am copying this script over here and pasting it. Sorry, pasting it over here. Now, what the error was, no interpreter was configured for this project. So, what we need to do is we need to configure the interpreter. Sometimes, when uh, multiple interpreters are found, then it will not be able to map which interpreter it has to map with PyCharm. So first let us do that, and then we'll try to check few other things. Configure Python interpreter, you have to click on that. Now project interpreter is there over here, and what I will do is, yes, over here I will select Python interpreter that is available over here, or I can add one more if one more is available, and I can give apply and OK. Just wait for a while for the things to get cleared. If the things are not clear, you will have to take one more step. Just let me click over here. Okay. Uh, yeah, here the let me check. The Python interpreter has come up. Okay, it is already there, so no need to worry. It is just if you can observe over here, some processing is going on. For the first time, it may take some time. Now, in the meantime, let me do some change. The editor option is there. The default font size is very small, so let me try to increase the font size little bit. Let me make it 18 or maybe 20. That is fine. Apply. Okay. And now just let us, yeah. See, it was processing all this while. That means what happens is PyCharm has to map one of the already installed Python interpreters with PyCharm so that when we run a program, you can uh, get the output. Now, let me explain to you some things about this PyCharm editor. The left side, you have the Explorer bar. That means which file and all those things. You can just reduce that. Here you can write the programs and say for example when you execute the program automatically the output window will come towards the bottom part. Let us try to run this program. It will ask for the confirmation and you can observe over here the output comes over here. You can increase or decrease the size of the output window as per your requirement. Now this part over here, the bottom part is going to be very useful. You can have the Python terminal over here, or you can have the Python console also over here. Just the Windows Defender, you have to give allow access. Fine. Now here you can give some Python commands if you want to try. So this is basically the Python console. So when you are writing programs and you want to check some output, then this window Python console can be used. However, we are not concerned with the Python console. We are concerned with the run window where we get the output. Now, one of the things why we are into this session is we want to learn how to debug a program using PyCharm. Again, debugging is an important skill and specifically in case the programs are large and lot of logical complexities are there. Sometimes, or rather many times, you may be getting the output, but the output is not correct. So, you are not able to identify from which point onwards the program execution is giving an incorrect output. So, how to debug a program? Generally, what you can do is if you have studied in other languages, other compilers, or other interpreters, there are different ways of debugging the program. PyCharm provides a very simple and easy way to debug a program. You have to set breakpoints in a program and simultaneously you can select one or more variables in the watch window. Say for example, for this particular program, I want to keep an eye on the n value, I value, k value, j value, and so on. So, I want to put a breakpoint once from the point where the for loop is starting. So, if you can observe, there is some space over here. it's like a margin in the notebook that we use. So here I have to just click and you can observe a dot appears. This is similar to a breakpoint. That means when you start debugging, it will first start from this point, not the first line, and then you can go step by step ahead. So say for example, I have put one breakpoint over here. Now how to go ahead? Breakpoint, and if you run, it will not work. There is a shortcut key F8, but if you don't remember the function key, let me show you some steps over here. In run, there are number of options available over here. What you have to do is first you have to start debugging, and either you can select this Alt Shift F9, or because you want to debug pyramid pattern, so you can give Shift F9. Now what happens when you give this? Just a moment, yes. So when this becomes blue, that means already it has executed the first two steps. You can observe n equals 5, sp equals 4. That means as the value of the variables keep on changing, the things will be displayed on the right in the program area of the editor. But this bottom part is also very useful. You can keep on adding the variables over here. This you can think of it as a debug window or a watch window. Now, if I click on plus, then it is something similar to new watch. So let me try to add, say for example, something over here and an SP are there. Let me put up, say for example, J. Now, because at present J, it has not come across in the program. Only after I complete the step for the for, then the value of J can be identified. Right now J is unknown. So it gives name error, J is not defined. Don't worry if this thing happens. Automatically when I go to the next step, the value of J will appear. Now once you start debugging, then some of these options will become active. With practice, you will come to know how to use this. But when you are debugging, the best way is to use step over, that is F8. So once I am here, I can give F8. Let me give F8. So now if you can observe here, the value of J is 1, and also the name error which was coming in the debug window or the watch window, now it is changed to 1 over here. So this is a good way, in the sense you will come to know at each step what is the next value of a particular variable. Again, let me give F8. So it gives print, that is how many times it may be printing a space, multiple times or not. As you can see, now the value of k is going to change. K becomes 1, so whatever value may be printed, again 2, 3, it will go till 3, because SP is 4, and when we give SP, that means it is up to. So now if you can observe, the value of I is also coming. Here J is there, but J star 2 minus 1 is not there. So let me do something over here. I can also give J star 2 minus 1. That means I can give the entire expression. And as you can see, at present J star 2 minus 1 is 1. So now let me give F8 once again. It will be just printing the values one by one. So as you can observe, there are two places where the value of the variables will appear, one in this program window part and another in this watch window part. And also, when you give F8, what happens is you will come to know at each step how the looping is being followed, or how the if is being followed, or where the control is moving from which point to which point. This helps a lot in debugging the program. So I hope you have understood how to install PyCharm and how you can use, say for example, now I have understood where the error was, or that there is no error, and I want to execute the program. Then what I can do, I can simply run over here, and to remove the breakpoint, I can just click on this once again, so the breakpoint is removed. So I hope you have understood how to debug a Python program using PyCharm. And as you have seen, it just takes a while in configuring for the first time. If you don't have 8 GB of RAM, it may just take little bit of extra time, specifically while loading PyCharm and while configuring for the first time. But once it is done, then executing a program does not take that much of time. So with this, we end this session. Thank you.